Is it true, as conservatives like to repeat forever, that if you raise the minimum wage, there will be some workers who will lose their jobs because the employer now has to give them $10 an hour instead of $7.35 or $7.65, whatever it is? The answer is unambiguously yes. There will be some employers, from everything we can tell, who, if they have to pay workers higher, anything higher, won't do it. But that's not the end of the story. To say that that's going to happen is a little bit like saying, will there be, over the next 12 months, rain? Yes, there will be rain. Does that mean we're going to be flooded out? Does that mean we shouldn't have picnics scheduled outside? No, it means there's going to be rain. There will be some people who lose their job if you raise the minimum wage. But what are the other consequences of the minimum wage? Well, if you raise the minimum wage for millions of workers, and remember, the minimum wage raising doesn't just affect the people who are at the minimum wage. Doesn't just mean that a person at $7.35 will go to $8 or $9 or $10 or whatever it is. Many other workers who get a bit more than the minimum wage have a wage that is determined in relationship to the minimum. In other words, they're given $1 more than the minimum, or $1.50, for all kinds of reasons. All of those people will see their wages go up. That means, and we have rough estimates of this, that somewhere on the order of 8 to 12 million Americans, minimum, will have their wages go up. When those people's wages go up, they will, this is going to come as rocket science to some, they're going to spend that money being poor people. Which means a lot more stuff is going to be sold to them because they've got more money to buy it. And if they buy more stuff, you're going to have to, get ready, hire people to make the extra stuff that they're buying, which is going to create jobs. So does raising the minimum wage make people better off by the millions? Yes. Will it create jobs? Yes. Will they be more or less than the jobs lost? We don't know, but probably more. Meanwhile, even if it nets out, an awful lot of people are going to have a higher standard of living. That's the reality. The rest is a silly debate in which you take one side of a complex issue, hammer at that one in the hopes that people don't understand. You're just looking at one aspect of something. You're not looking at the totality when the thing looks really quite different. Don't be fooled. Since we last met, 2 countries have taken steps either to establish or to raise their minimum wage, and I wanted to make sure you all knew about it. First, Germany. Germany has not had a minimum wage law. Germany's economy is very well organized. It's Germany, after all. And they organize it in such a way that the employers, who are very well organized, sit down with the unions that are very well organized, and they work out a deal that covers everybody. And they don't need the government, and that's basically why they've never had a minimum wage law. But there's been a lot of agitation, and so they finally passed a minimum wage law, which went into effect since our last monthly meeting. So I wanted you to know that their minimum wage that they established to start off is about $11.30 an hour. Ours is $7.35 an hour. Let me do that again. Germany is 11 and a quarter. United States, a little over $7. Our president has announced that he's in favor of a $10.10 an hour minimum wage, but apparently will not be able to get that through the Congress. So the Germans have 11 and a quarter. Second interesting thing that happened was the British government they have a minimum wage, they raised their minimum wage, another block this last month. So they're now also at about $11.50 an hour, like the Germans, and way ahead of us. Denmark also has a minimum wage. That's $20.30 an hour. And let me say that again. Denmark has a minimum wage of $20.30 an hour. The Swiss, who have decided not to be what they once were, which is kind of asleep, but to actually, and I should be careful, I have French and Swiss relatives, so I don't mean to be nasty about the Swiss, but nonetheless, they have a democratic system that allows people to sign petitions, and then the items are put on the ballot. It's very easy in Switzerland to have something be voted on by the entire Swiss population. So they recently had a ballot initiative. They got more than I think it's 100,000, whatever the number is that they needed to sign it, and that was to establish a minimum wage of $25 an hour. That effort was voted down, but not by a lot. So they're going to continue the agitation. So let's review. Switzerland is struggling for 25. Denmark already has more than 20. Britain has over $11 an hour, and Germany does, and we come roaring in with $7.35. What is that? Think about it. What do you think it says about an economy, a society, that I could give you such numbers? Okay, I'm leaving it. You can draw the conclusions yourself and what it might mean. We are as rich or richer than all of those societies. But we just do not treat our people that way.